Okay, so in this video, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about two things. And at first I was like, you can't talk about two things in one video. What's the title going to be? And then I realized I don't give a singular fuck. I know. I know. It's pretty cool. So I just realized I don't give a fuck. But no, seriously, I just have two things on my mind at the same time. And I want to talk about both of them. And I'm trying to remember the second one because maybe I should just start with the other one, but I thought I wanted to go in some kind of order here because there's only two, so it would be the other one. Um, First one was more self-opinion based, and the second one was not knowing what the fuck I'm doing. So actually, I'll start with that one. That's the one I wanted to start with. So you have to get over the fact that you're not going to know what the fuck you're doing, and that there will be problems, and that that's fucking okay. There's nothing wrong with problems. Like, it sounds dumb. It's like we don't want problems, but there's also a side of things where I've noticed sometimes when you play into the other side, it might not be what you want. Where it's like, let's say you had a life with zero problems. Would that be a good life? Is that what makes a good life? Zero problems? Because yes, like if you have a good day, arguably there's no problems and you felt good because there was no problems. But it's like, don't you need the conflict, right? So I like looking at it like that because it's a very healthy way to view it of like, okay, if my life had zero conflict, what kind of story are we dealing with? What kind of movie follows a person around and it's just sunshine and rainbows? Like every movie is a conflict and we watch them go through the conflict and come out a better person. So it's like if you want to come out a better person, you can't just wish for easy times. So again, I'm talking about this on a micro level in terms of like what I'm working on for my newsletter. I say my newsletter is me, my brother's, but our newsletter, right? Like we're just running into so like fucking Twitter, like Twitter ads are a pain in the like. Basically, let me explain this to you so you can understand it. I'll make this very quick, so as not to fucking send you to sleep unless you want to fall asleep. We have a newsletter. We are trying to run ads. We recently found out that Beehive, the newsletter platform, we can just do this upscribe feature where basically we send people to our lead magnet or to our landing page, and we can have people sign up to other newsletters and get paid. So basically what that would do is cut out our acquisition costs, meaning like if we spent 10 on it, $10 on an ad, but 5 people subscribed and we got $2 per sub, we paid 0 and got new subs. And obviously we could become profitable, maybe we wouldn't be, but it's still a better model than most where it's just sending money out and hoping it comes back. Our LTV would almost be immediate. Obviously we hope they, stay, read the newsletter, buy things. That's like the main hope, but it's a great way to like be able to ramp up ad spend very quickly. And the beauty of this realization is we had it pretty recently when Twitter or X, I'm just going to keep calling it Twitter, just decided to be like, fuck you guys. And they suck. They're the worst. I like them, but they suck. Used them for a bit. And now it's just pretty much, long story short, they're just a pain in the ass. They have the worst support in the entire world. And this is going to be me. This is not a video about me bitching, moaning, and complaining. My point is horrible support, ton of issues with ads. And basically when you reach out to them, they're just like, hey, have you tried reading read our entire terms of service and all our privacy policies? And then there you go. Like, and then they, at the end, they'll be like, we might reply. Like, keep in mind, we can't reply to everybody. So that's basically their support in a nutshell. So basically, not a similar thing, but like on LinkedIn, something went wrong with the campaign. Like my brother told me straight up, our fucking account, he can't even log into the account. It's like locking him out. So there's a ton of shit, right? And it's like Cry Me a River, right? Like there's bigger problems in the world. But for us, this is a big deal because we're trying to like make fucking money because, I mean, I'm in college. He's going to, well, not going to college, but like around that time. So it's like we gotta do some shit here, right? And I just had a moment of like, I don't have time. This was kind of the main lesson I pulled from this moment. I kind of sat down on my bed and I was ready to like, I guess the best word is sulk, right? Just to kind of like sit and be like, fuck, man, like fuck this. And I was like, that's never been any good. I don't think that's done anybody any good ever. And I just had a moment of like, anything else you could do would be better than this. Because I'm starting to become intolerant of like wasting time. And that's not entirely true. Like, there's still moments obviously where I slip up. but I'm starting to become intolerant. Like where like that moment where I started to kind of sit and like feel bad, I was like literally, it's hard to see in the moment, but it's like, what the fuck is this doing for you? Like name one thing. Like I realized in that moment, the little tasks that I don't get done in the day, that at the end of the day, I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. I could have done that while I fucking sat and sulked, right? So I had a moment of like, I'm supposed to upload short form for somebody, right? So I work for them. I upload short form for them, and I had made the clip. I just didn't upload it. And I was like, are you kidding me? If I'm going to sit and sulk, I may as well fucking, you know what I mean? Like do these other tasks. You may as well like pull out a book and read while you think these stupid thoughts. You know what I mean? It's just like, what was I going to do there? Just sit there for 10 minutes and be like, oh, we're screwed. Like what? Even if we were screwed, like, okay, what's the next thing? You know what I mean? There's always a next thing. It's like, even if we had to pivot the entire thing, even if I was like, fuck the newsletter, we're going to make a YouTube channel, right? Like, it doesn't matter what it was. It's like, is it reaching out to Twitter support? Is it going on an entirely new platform? Maybe this is good. Maybe we were never supposed to advertise on Twitter, right? You don't know. That's another beautiful lesson that I absolutely love, is that you don't even know if the thing that's happening is good or bad. So stop labeling shit as good or bad. You think it's good or bad. And there's a story that probably everyone's heard by now about like, you know, the kid is riding a donkey or something, or he receives a donkey. Everyone's like, oh, he's so lucky. Then he falls off, breaks his leg. Everyone's like, oh, he's unlucky. And then, you know, the army comes around. They're like, yo, we need you. And he's like, my leg's broken. Didn't go to the army. Oh, he's lucky again. And the story goes on forever. And it's just like, it's just people prescribing, I guess ascribing, right? Labels, good, bad, to these things. And it's like, dude, you don't know what they are until, you know, the army rolls around, and you breaking your leg was a blessing. So it's like, stop labeling things as good or bad. Like, yes, in the moment it makes sense. Like, yes, I'm not saying breaking your leg is good, but it's like, if the army comes around, yeah, it is, right? So those are the two lessons I pull from that. There's like, become intolerant of wasting time, right? Like sulking, or like whatever the fuck this is, where it's just like, I'm going to sit and be upset. It's like, dude, like, okay. I mean, you can, if you get something out of that, right? There's a realization that comes from it, beautiful, but for the most part, it's just like, you may as well fucking do anything else, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't get to meditate. I didn't get to read. I didn't get to, oh, but you had fucking 30 minutes to sit and be upset, right? Like, I don't know. I think there's something to be said about, like, maybe you could say it's unhealthy about like, keep moving, but it's like, yeah, it kind of takes your mind off it. Like, do you want to be sitting in your sorrows, or do you want to like do something about it, or do something else, right? It's like, if I can't do something about this, I may as well like do some other thing that I don't get done, right? And the other lesson that just randomly, not randomly, I have a TikTok, and I'm still a bitch. I'm not going to affirm that, but like, still care what people think to an extent. And even that is an affirmation in itself, but I mean, we all kind of do to some extent, right? Maybe we don't. Maybe that's a belief as well. Question and challenge everything freely. If I say something and you're just like, I mean, I love that. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked by assuming. Or let me just restart, because my train of thought is completely fucked. I have a TikTok that basically I started posting to. I noticed that because maybe I attached my phone number as my first account, that people I knew were coming up in the follow things. And I was reading one of the comments, and it was one of my friends at one point. And I only uploaded 2, and they were like deep life, like totally like, again, who cares what anyone thinks, right? But it was not a side of me that I ever show. And again, these are old friends too, so it's not even like relevant. It's like, they're not even like, I respect them, they're my friends, but like, who the fuck, like, why the fuck do I care? They're not like in my life. And even if they were, why would that have a say? But anyway, besides the point, there was a comment from someone that I knew, and I didn't like that. I felt like immediately like, ooh, like shit, like someone saw this, right? Like I'm in my existential, like I got glasses. I mean, that's not existential, but you get my point. Like I got the glasses on, it's nighttime. I'm like introspective. I'm talking all this stuff, you know? And I was just like, ooh, I don't like that someone I know saw that. And I love to just tell you, this is the part where I was like, I don't give a fuck. But I literally made a new TikTok account under another name. And I'm still going to stand by it. You could argue it's a bitch move. But I just feel better if the content's going out to a new batch of audience instead of my entire contact list, because I don't know if that's the case, but someone I knew saw it, and basically what made me bring this up is I have a profile view from someone else that I know. Crazy. Wild shit, right? Big problems. But only 2 videos uploaded again. But yeah, got that profile view, and again, I had the instant reaction, which I couldn't control, of like, fuck, like I physically felt this. Like, it's not just like my brain, it's like more so it's a feeling, and the thoughts actually follow. And this kind of sums up a lot of the things I experience, where it's like, actually my thoughts really aren't the issue. It's like the pre-built response I have. Like if I get nervous to like raise my hand or to say something or to speak up or to speak in front of people, it's actually not the thoughts that fuck me up. It's like the natural the subconscious of just like the heart starts beating, like the things start happening, right? It's more of the feeling first and the thoughts follow. And actually the thoughts might be good. It might be like, okay, you're fine. Like you got this, you're confident. But it's like the feeling that I'm used to is there. So anyway, this is more of like a psychological, like, oh shit, when I saw that, oh, another fucking person that I know saw this. And maybe this takes away from it because I'm standing here being like, who cares? And then I'm like, but I made a new TikTok account. But yeah, who cares? Like, even in that moment, like, why would I care that he saw it? He didn't say anything. And even if he did, it wouldn't matter. And if he did, maybe he liked the video I uploaded. It's just such a weird thing how like this is all going on inside my head and no one knows about that. Like the people that see these things, the friends, I don't know why I put it like that, but like the friends that see these things, they might love it. Or they might not give a single fuck. Or they may despise you for it. They may hate that you dare upload content. In every scenario, it doesn't fucking matter. And I'm telling you, the beauty is, okay, was it a bitch move to make a new TikTok? Maybe. But the bitchest move I could have made, because realistically that's not going to affect anything. It was a brand new account. There was like no reach on it. So like whatever. The most bitch thing I could have done was to stop uploading. Like entirely. So I'll give myself that credit. And this is why I'm proud of this YouTube channel. Again, I don't have all my friends commenting on it. Maybe, I mean, I don't want to say I'd stop YouTube if my friends were commenting. I would absolutely not. But you get my point. It would be a whole other story. However, you cannot let these things fucking stop you, man. I mean, you can't. I mean, to think that you could be the next like Mr. Beast or the next whoever of your art, of your craft, of your creative project is fucking so wild that like one random person could just boom, block you from that. And the people who you just can't give a fuck. You just can't give a fuck to some extent. Yeah, to some extent. And it's just like, again, it's the most obvious lessons that might be the most important when you actually internalize them. And I hope you're not hearing all this creaking. I said this last video, but I got a new like standing board to like kind of move around on, and I'm like fucking moving all over the place here. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I was just like, think about like how many people that stops in life. Like how many people wouldn't make a YouTube channel because like there's a possibility, not even because their friends find it. Like what are the odds your friends find your YouTube channel? How many people were searching your name on YouTube? Right? Like I'd have moments where I was like, what if the channel did well? What if the TikTok did well and then my friends saw it? Are you fucking kidding me? Like what kind of thought is that? Oh, what if it blows up? What if it does well? Well, good for you. You might have a career, right? Like if a YouTube video blows up and you become a YouTuber, congratulations. Like you might have just had a dream come true at the expense of like 3 of your old friends finding the video. It's things like this too, where it's like you have to question it because that argument doesn't even hold up to me. I actually do not give a fuck what people think. It just takes 1 minute of being like, do I really care about this? Or what do I care about more? Right? Do I care about their perception? Because again, it might not even be bad. They might love that you have a YouTube channel or that you're chasing your dreams, right? But even if they hated it, why the fuck do I care? Doesn't really bother me. Sorry that hurts you. I'll do my thing, you do yours. So it's little things like this where like right now I'm even coming across as someone who's like really like, you know what I mean? I'm really just like, wow, this guy, is this guy good? Like he must think these things through, or like he must really care what people think. And it's like, I'm trying to display to you that if you can just break this down, if you're someone who experiences this, if you can just go one step further, you'll realize that like it's really not that big of a deal, right? It's like that argument crumbles instantaneously. It's like the moment I have the feeling, right? Because it's not even a thought, it's a feeling. It's like, oh shit, someone knows, someone, you know, found out this, or, you know, and it's like this weird self-conscious like program that runs. The moment you say to yourself, like, do I really care? Or like, what's more important, that I keep this channel going, that I follow my dream, or that this person saw? And it's just, it's what it is. It's programming, right? Because I actually don't care. I consider myself someone who doesn't give a fuck, yet I walk around in life a lot of the times like I do, right? I'm thinking all the time about how people perceive me and how blah, 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 right? And it's like, dude, like, which one are you? But it's like the moment you kind of tackle these ideas, they crumble. They're fucking weak because they're not arguments, right? They're feelings. They're programs that run that you're used to. So the next time you get this feeling of like, oh shit, for whatever it is, or the next time you get that thought, the moment you just begin to observe it and say like, why do I think that? And do I really think that? That's such a cool thing that you can just see thoughts, and instead of being like, that's me, which most people don't do, right? They just think them. But like to just watch it go by and be like, do I actually think that? And just like reprogram yourself, because it's not your fault, right? Like I have moments where I'm still wondering like, why the fuck do I get nervous here? And it's like, dude, doesn't matter. Like it's the subconscious, it's the routine way my body has reacted in these types of areas. That's not my fault. What I can control is every time it happens, I'll just be like, it's fine. No biggie, right? And it's your goal, it's your job to infiltrate these thoughts or to break them down, right? Because they're so easy to break. They're not brick walls. They look like brick walls, but they're made of fucking cotton candy. Like cotton candy and cotton balls. That's the two softest things I could think of. But it's just funny to me that like the mind is that powerful to make you. And again, this is a very deep insight to draw because it wasn't that like philosophical of a moment, but I just noticed I had that and then felt it and I was like, fuck. And then I was like, it's like when you say things out loud, right? It's like in your head, things become very loud and everything you think is true because it's in your head. But the moment you externalize and say like, do I, like literally out loud say, do I even care about this? And explain the situation. That's another thing. When you explain the situation logically, it takes a lot of the power away. So when I say right now, I am nervous because someone that I knew from a few years ago saw a TikTok that I posted about me talking about something existential. Now, they are probably continuing with their life. Maybe they didn't even watch it. Maybe they love it. Maybe they'll never think about it again because they have their own life. When you say these things aloud, it's like, what the fuck? And the moment I realized this, which could be a whole lesson in itself, but since we're nearing, still can run until like 20 minutes. I try. I usually end around 20. But Elon Musk, I heard recently from, I guess his, I don't know if he wrote a book or someone wrote a book on him, but either way, one of his quotes was like a very logical way of looking at things that, you know, he used to be afraid of the dark. Then he realized he learned that the dark was a lack of photons, I think it was, and that it's silly to be afraid of a lack of photons. And I was like, think about if we all thought like that. Like every time we had this animalistic monkey mind reaction to anything, we just said like, we just out loud said like, what is this really? And it sounds dumb because it's like, you're afraid of the dark. It's like, okay, that's fair. You're afraid of a lack of photons? Like what the fuck? Like that makes no sense. And it's the same thing here. It's like, I'm afraid of the potential of another consciousness judging me, but they're not telling me it. So it's like, you don't even get the negative thing, right? Like this person that didn't reach out to me was like, yo, you made a TikTok, you made a this. Like that never happened. I reap zero punishment from this, right? So why worry? Why stress about it? So the moment you externalize it and kind of logically look at it and be like, okay, like what's actually happening here, right? It's not like, oh, I'm fearful. It's like, what are you fearful of? And the moment you say, I'm afraid of whatever, like talking to another human being. It's like, what? You're afraid of talking to another human? Is there a reason? You know what I mean? And you start to break these things down, and all these things that started to, you just used to believe, right? I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. It's like the moment you start to break them down and say, well, like, why? You're probably going to get to a point where it's like, I don't know, because it's habit. And that's where it's like, okay, now we have to start resetting things, because you're just going to get to a point where it's like, I don't really have a reason, right? I don't really have a reason to be afraid of this thing. And it's like, okay, well, now you know it's just habitual shit. It's just something that you have to fucking work through and change, and it's like a subconscious built-in thing that has to change. So, yeah. Those are the 2 random lessons that I just wanted to drop on you today. So, yeah. Hope you got some value as always. And with that said, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.